to Gujarat Titans.
Yeah.
That's another very good team. I like what I see of Gujarat Titans.
I like
Hardik
their
Pandya.
bowling attack as
And
well.
I like the way Hardik Pandya has taken so much responsibility. He's batting like a proper batsman. He's not just thinking of him going out there and to hit 4s and 6s. He's taken a lot of captain's responsibility as a captain and a leader.
Hasaranga is into the attacks. First ball is waited for watchfully by Buttler and then turned into the onside. He went right deep in the crease and then just pushed it into the gap for a single.
Yeah, he was the peak of the bowlers in the last game. Picked up 4 wickets. Was man of the match as well, Hasaranga. After getting hit in the first match, came back quite strongly. So they expect a couple of wickets from him in the middle period, or at least try and squeeze these two batters. I often think in T20 cricket, Dan, whoever bats well or bowls well between the 6th and the 15th over, they often win the game. If you can control that middle period as a bowling unit or as a batting unit, you're giving yourself the best chance to win a T20 match.
Well, it's going to be key here as Hasaranga is in. The left-handed Padikkal, who works the ball easily enough off his pads. He's set off quickly for the first. He'd love to come back for a second. Butler's fast between the wickets and he gets there. Little fumble as well. Is that Siraj fumbling? So, by the way, if you are wondering, like I have done on many occasions, on your scorecards, you'll see the name PWH De Silva. He is the artist also known as Wanindu Hasaranga. Don't ask me.
Why?
I imagine that it's P Wanindu Hasaranga De Silva, is my guess.
Yeah.
But that's who you need to look out for. Padikkal faces up and cuts a flat ball that was just bowled outside the off stump, just going on with the arm, and he gets a couple of runs for it as Willie runs to his left at deep extra cover on the boundary. 64 for 1.
It's a very quick outfield at the Wankhede. It's a lightning outfield. Once you hit the ball in the gap, it's very hard for the fielders to get close to. It's like a carpet.
Is it?
Yeah,
So is it quite soft grass, or what is it?
Yeah, I would say it's quite a soft grass. It's a good outfield. You can dive on that outfield without getting hurt.
Hasaranga in again. It's Fuller, but he's still waiting for this. Is Padikkal playing off the back foot. They're being very watchful at the moment to Hasaranga. They know what a threat he can be. It's bearded, stout man. 67 for 1.
I've grown up in Calcutta playing all my cricket in Eden Gardens. I don't think there were many grounds better than Eden Gardens in India. At one point, the outfield was just lightning, absolutely like carpet. But over the years, it started deteriorating a little bit. It's very hard to maintain that sort of outfit for a long period. It does get a bit hard as the time progresses. But still, a terrific ground to play cricket with 90,000 people watching and cheering for you.
It intrigues me the types of grass you get. You know, the oval, for example, it is smooth like a snooker table. Silky smooth, isn't it? Velvet almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
I went out to Australia and you feel that grass, and it's sort of, if you dive on that, you kind of burn your arms. You know, it's just sort of coarse. Hasaranga in again, down the leg side. He sees Butler coming, so he then spears the ball down the leg side, hoping he might be able to pick up a leg side stumping, but Butler's slightly wiser to it, smothers the ball with his body and pad as much as anything else. But it's been another good over for RCB. 1 ball left in it, the 9th, after which there will be a not particularly strategic timeout. If it was strategic, they would have taken it earlier, I fancy. Down the wicket comes Butler, and this time he has got hold of it. Over long on, it's sailed miles in the air, second tier. And Butler, he even looked a little grumpy about that. It's like, I don't like batting here.
He's still angry.
He is angry.
He's still angry that, why am I on 30 of 23? I should be on 45 here.
Exact, 73 for 1 after 9. I'll tell you exactly what he's on. With that 6, he has moved to 30 off 23. You're dead right. Padikkal 36 off 25. And neither bat has been particularly fluent. Padikkal the more fluent.
Yep.
Butler has just looked a bit out of sorts. He started off really slowly, 6 off his first 10. He's at 24 off the next 13, but he shouldn't be there. He should have been caught off his own bowling by Akashdeep, and he should have been caught by David Willey. And the ball went sailing high in the air. He's survived, and the result of that is at 73 for 1 after 9. On this pitch, with the way this ball's been moving, that feels like a good start for the Royals, top of the table Royals.
It's a very good start. I think they're in a very good position now, and especially that they've only lost 1 wicket. They've got 9 wickets in hand, some very good power hitters to come with the likes of Sanju Samson. They've got Shimron Hetmeyer. We know what he can do. Ryan Parag. R. Ashwin can throw his bat around a little bit as well. So they've got a lot of batting to come. And with T20 cricket and with Jos Buttler being out there, he's 30 of 23, that could very well become 100 or 50 deliveries. You will be surprised what he can do.
Well, that's the danger, isn't it? It's the potential with Butler is so huge that he's the kind of guy you don't want to be dropping. I mean, you don't want to drop anybody, of course, and nobody wants to. I asked this the other day of Varun Chopra, and he said he can remember his worst drop, and it has never left him. The feeling of humiliation and awfulness, and just, oh God. Yeah. Can you remember your worst drop?
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
It's right in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
So it was a Ranji Trophy final.
Oh no.
Against Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
Mohammad Kaf.
Oh no, you don't want to drop him.
Yeah, listen. Just tried to play it on the onside top edge, the dolly, like the dolliest of dollies you can get. I'm in short cover, and before I even caught it, I was trying to celebrate it, and then I dropped it and he got 100.
Oh, did you lose the match?
Yes, we did. How we lose the match, that's a different story. I don't want to get into details with what's going on, but yes, I mean that drop probably is the worst drop, and I can never get over it.
No, even at the terribly lowly level of cricket I played, I can remember my most humiliating drop. And every time I remember it, if I remember it in the street, I suddenly, like, my body contorts and I start singing a song.
It's the shivers you go on singing.
Yeah. It's just absolutely horrible. But, I haven't done it in front of sort of 40,000 crowd. That's the thing. I've
been very fortunate. I've never dropped a catch in the IPL.
Really?
You're very, very fortunate. And I've had some very good catches, very high catches.
Yeah.
Every time I just prayed. So once I was under a catch of Adam Gilchrist, and that's the catch you don't want to drop in a T20, especially when Shane Warne is bowling.
Oh, it's off his bowling.
Yes.
Are you even aware of that? Are you aware of that when the ball's in the air?
Yeah, you are aware of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And especially with 50,000 people screaming down your throat.
Yeah.
And we're playing in Punjab. We're playing in Chandigarh.
Oh, so drop it.
Yeah.
They started up after the break. First ball defended off the front foot by Padikkal up to mid-off. There's no run. Yeah,
so those are the drops you don't want to do. Especially, first you're worried, if I drop this, it's Adam Gilchrist. You don't know what he's going to do in the next 5 overs. And then you drop it off the captain's bowling. And you know what's coming after that.
Yeah, you're making a swift getaway at your close of play, aren't you? Yeah, you're not showering. You're getting straight in the car.
Oh, my God. I've got it's just...
Nice delivery from Harshal Patel. His first over. We've waited this time to see Harshal, and he's been driven into the offside. A good diving stop at cover prevents a run. Yeah,
once I got stuck very badly, and I never want to be in that position in my life again. So we're playing against Bangalore, and we were 60 for 5 or 60 for 6. Shane Warne walks in. First ball, the batter bats, calls yes, and then by the time Shane Warne is close to him, he says no and returns to his crease. Shane Warne out. Without facing a delivery, run out.
Oh, no.
I'll come back to it. And when he walks into the dressing room, there's only one soul sitting, and that's me, because I just got out and came out before him.
Oh, yeah. So did he let rip?
I don't want to get into the details after that, but I don't want to be in that position in cricketing life ever again.
Right. Yeah.
What unfolded?
I think I can guess. You might have to tell us off air.
Yes.
I think a ball might have been replaced because it's gone out of shape. Harshal comes in to the left-handed Padikkal. Padikkal flicks this away flamboyantly off his hip, but there is a deep backward square. Mo Siraj, who does the fielding. They get through for a run. 74 for 1, the first run since the strategic timeout. Harshal Patel coming into the attack for the 10th over. He's been held back for a while, but he's seen as a death bowler, isn't he, as well? You'll see him in the last
I
few
think
overs.
he's going to bowl through now. He's going to at least bowl a couple of overs at the death. He's exceptional at the moment. And the last year, he was just brilliant. If I'm not wrong, the highest wicket taker in the IPL last year. And, he was just brilliant. And I think the first match, 2021 IPL, he took 5 or 6 for. And it was Atif and I commentating, and Atif said he's going to be the highest wicket taker in this year's IPL. And I just looked at Atif and I was like, what are you talking about?
Full, driven into the ground. Good take, if you like, almost by Harshal. Moving to his left, one-handed, prevents any runs.
Because before that season, Harshal Patel used to come and bowl 4 overs for 50 consistently.
That's right, yeah.
And when Atif said he's going to be the highest wicket taker, I said he's very lucky to be playing the first game. He's got even luckier that he's got 5 wickets.
Yeah.
But this is not lasting.
Well, do you know, he can be right. He can be right.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
He was the top of the league.
He was. Here is Harshall with very determined eyes, and Butler drives square of the wicket. On the up, nicely down a deep backward point. Willie runs to his left to field, throws in, but only 2 singles so far coming from this Harshall over. 1 to Padikkal, 1 to Butler. Butler on to 31 from 25. Padikkal 37 from 28. 75 for 1, approaching the halfway stage. 1 ball left in the 10.
We talk about Joss Butler, we talk about his batting. It's all about anticipation and innovation. We haven't seen that
No.
yet.
Not seen anything, have we?
Yeah, we haven't
No
seen any
movements around the
innovative
crease?
shots. He's been very, very straightforward. He's taking his time today. Still got 10 overs.
Padikkal thinks about pulling at this ball, and it was very short. It's been given as a wide, obviously for height. Faf du Plessis gives a slightly wry grin. I don't know if he's better placed to know than the umpire at square leg, who you'd imagine would be in the best position. But there's a slower bounce as well. We've seen a fair bit of that. We're looking at Harshal Patel's speeds in this over. He's varied between 114 and 130 kilometres an hour, pretty much alternating so far.
I think that's what makes it so much harder for the batters to play. If somebody's bowling at 135, 140 kilometers, and then the slow ball is around 110, 112, it's a massive difference. So it's
With the
really
same
hard
action.
as a batter. And the action, it doesn't really change much. The arm speed doesn't go slower, it's the same. It's just the release, he changes it beautifully. He's worked really hard on that slow delivery.
Round the wicket comes Harshal, and that's gone high up in the air. Is there a man underneath this? It's gone out towards deep. Yes, it is. It's Kohli who takes the catch. He wasn't in quite the right position for it. He slightly misjudged it. It was going over his head, and he just got it with both hands, fingers pointing up. And he gives a snarling, angry yes to the bowler. We've got him. Finally, a wicket's been taken. Padikkal has to go. Caught it. Extra cover, really, running back about 10 yards outside the ring. Rajasthan at the halfway stage, 76 for 2.
When is he not angry? That's the question.
Yeah.
Virat Kohli is angry after hitting a 4, after taking a catch. Anything he does, you see a bit of aggression, bit of anger, but it's all meant in the right way.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. But what a catch! Difficult catch, over his head, never easy. Judged it to perfection. There's something must have been.
Now, what's
Oh, he's
going
got to
on
come
here?
back.
What's going
Is
on
that
here?
a no ball?
Is it a no ball?
We have to wait. We haven't heard that noise. That
What is going on here?
we have to wait and see here. There's something going on. There's something. Sanju's been asked to stop. Padikkal, the third umpire, has brought Padikkal back into the ground. He's asking him to stop outside the boundary line.
What's happening here? Now, it can only be a no ball. It can't be to make sure that the ball didn't hit the ground, because we saw the catch. It was over his head. His fingers are pointing up.
No, it has to be a no ball.
It has to be that it's a no ball, hasn't it? But we haven't heard the noise.
Checking the front foot no ball, I think. We've got to wait for it. Or are they checking his catch?
They're checking the catch, I think, to see if when he
They're checking
fell
the catch.
down, whether the ball hit the ground before he was in control. Now, we're not seeing any replays, so I can't really make you... Oh, now, here we go. Right, so ball's in hand. He falls down. Oh! Oh, no, fingers underneath, I think. So as he fell down, he took one hand off the ball in order to break his own fall. And they're just checking to see whether or not his fingers are underneath, and it is out. So I think part of the problem has been, as Abhishek takes a well-deserved five over break, I think part of the problem is that those 10 overs had been bowled in around about 52 minutes. Now, the problem is that we hadn't wasted enough time. We hadn't had any reviews, we hadn't had any unnecessary bowling changes, we hadn't had people coming on and off with a cap and a helmet like when MS Dhoni's batting, and so in order to ensure that the game can slow down to a dreadful crawl, they had needlessly to check a catch that was completely clean. So we welcome back Atif Nawaz after all of that.
Well,
lovely to have you.
Thank you. That was quite something, wasn't it? I mean, it was just really cruel, really, to Devdutt Padikkal.
It was.
They kind of made him wait. They gave him false hope, and he thought maybe I'm back in here, and then he had to go back off anyway. This is very, very, very cruel.
It's a bit like saying to the condemned man, "Oh, you've been given a rip."
Yeah, no, you haven't.
Oh no, you haven't.
Back in the guillotine you go.
Anyway, it's you, baby.
It is. Well, I was just listening to your chat about Harshal Patel, and the one thing he didn't add at the end of that sequence was that Harshal Patel ended up taking 32 wickets from his 15 matches in the last IPL,
It's not bad,
and
is it?
indeed finished top wicket taker. So I was right.
You know, I am in awe of you. I just know I was.
Do you know my reasoning behind that?
I am not worthy.
My reasoning wasn't that I thought Harshal Patel is going to be this great bowler, but the fact that he bowled almost always the 20th over of the innings, whereby the batters are going after him. He mixes up his pace very nicely, very effectively. As the 11th over begins with a thick outside edge off the bat of Jos Buttler out to backward point. They do run through for a single. 77 for 2 after 10.1.
I get you think it's a very, very sensible judgment.
Yep, and it worked. I mean, he took predominantly took most of his wickets in either the 18th or the 20th over. So I think that's always a good bet if you're looking for the top wicket taker who's bowling the last over, because people are going to go after that guy.
It's still Lent. I can't bet.
Is it really? Is it Lent right now?
I think so.
Oh wow, what's nice. Lent and Ramadan combining. That's quite nice.
They do actually. Yeah,
that's quite nice.
Yeah, I mean Lent ends, doesn't it, on Easter Sunday or Good Friday?
Yes, of course it does. Yes, that's right.
Which is the 15th this year, Good Friday, and Easter Sunday is, of course, that's when everyone gorges on eggs. That's the 17th of April. Yeah,
of course. Akash deep in again. This time balls work to mid wicket for no run. The day after Easter Sunday is one of my favourite days of the year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's I call it discounted Easter egg day.
Oh right.
So you just go along to the supermarkets. It's all like the 15th of February, also a favourite of mine. I call that discounted heart-shaped chocolate day. They're the two best days of the year. As long as you don't mind it in heart form or egg form, you're going to get some cheap chocolate.
Of course, it is Ramadan this year at the same time. But I suppose you can just hold on to them until sunset.
Of course, yeah, indeed. Enjoy a nice little treat after sunset. Why not? As another full ball from Akash. This time the ball's been pushed straight enough. It'll go down to long on, and they'll take a single. Slight consolidation phase.
So remind me, Ramadan started how long? 3 days ago?
Well, depending on which part of the country you're in, it started either on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh,
so I started on Saturday. That was the day 1. So it's currently day 4.
Okay.
So still working off reserve energy. I'm okay at the moment. Day 16 is when I get grumpy.
Oh, is it 16? I've heard it's I've heard sort of the second week is
the second week is hard as well. That's a good point. Let's just say I'm going to be grumpy all the way through for safety.
Well, that's great. When are we next working together?
Tomorrow. Short from Akash Deep, a slower ball, but watchfully played by Sanju Samson. He's off the mark with a single. 79 for 2 off 10.4 overs. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's just one of those things. And to be fair, there's not a huge gap between sunrise and sunset. I do feel quite healthy, you know? I feel good. I feel nice.
Well, you're looking good, actually.
Thank you very much, Dan.
You've got a glossy coat.
I do. That's the moisturiser.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah.
No, you're looking good.
Thanks, mate.
And it's look, people swear by it. It's a very good thing to do, isn't it? But
it feels very good.
Once you get sort of like 3 weeks in, you kind of like really get into the swing of it, get the mood.
You do, and you do feel quite cleansed as the next ball is a slower bouncer. It's been left alone by Sanju Samson. Signal is the 1 for the over by the umpire. 79 for 2 the score remains. So yeah, I mean, you kind of feel quite physically and spiritually, and you feel lighter and happier and all that kind of stuff, and then that sort of filters its way out over the course of the next 12 months, and then you get to do it all over again. So,
and look, you know, it's not June, is it?
No, that's true.
And that's a tough time for it, because then you basically got between sort of 9:45. I mean, if you're actually in the north of Scotland, you've basically got about 4.5, 5 hours, haven't you?
Oh my goodness, I've seen those days, of course, but luckily at the moment, because it's a lunar calendar, it goes back about 10 or 11 days every year. So right now we're heading to a nice Ramadan for the next few years. It'll get shorter and shorter.
Oh, for quite a few years.
Yeah.
I mean, it won't be too long before it happens over Christmas time. And then,
That's kind of perfect. This time, erring onto the pads is Akash Deep of Sanju Samson, who flicks this away nicely out to the deep. 79 for 2 off 10.5 overs. We're talking about other things, just because it's a slight
lull.
It's a slight lull in play. 80 for 2 after 11, just a 4 off that last over from Akash Deep. And elsewhere in the world of cricket, the draft for the 100 happened today. Well, it happened yesterday, but it was announced today.
Yeah.
And some interesting choices. Now, the big thing for me is the women's 100.
Yes.
The big names. So many big Australian names coming over this year. You got the likes of Elisa Healy, Megan Shute, Beth Mooney, Meg Lanning. Just so many, and then of course you got people like Amy Satterthwaite from New Zealand, and talent from all over the world. This is huge. I mean, surely, Daniel, this is what was missing last year: the opportunity for these young English cricketers to rub shoulders with the very best in the world.
Well, this is it, isn't it? Last year's 100 was a bit of a soft launch in a way because there weren't as many overseas players, very few Australians, for example, and now the women's 100 is going to have those Australian stars they didn't have last year. And look, the women's 100 last year was a great tournament.
It most certainly was. As the next over begins, Hasaranga in for his second, worked to mid-wicket for no run.
But the likes of, Meg Lanning, Elise Perry, Talia McGrath's over here. I haven't checked all the different names. I was doing a podcast with Adam Collins this morning, so all the news has not filtered through to me. But you told me after this ball.
As Hasaranga in, this is full. It's been swiped down the ground by Sanju Samson.
Wow.
That's gone all the way. A flat 6 down the ground off a full ball from Hasaranga. And Sanju Samson isn't messing about. 86 for 2 after 11.2 overs. That was pretty good. You'd be happy with that on the golf course.
That's all about placement because that ball was pitched on leg stump and looked like it was going further down. Now, any other mortal would have been forced to hit that over, wide long on at best, or maybe deep mid-wicket. He's got that straight as a die. I don't know how he's hit that there.
Hasaranga in again. This is short this time and keeps a little bit low. Pull shot attempted by Samson. Misses. The ball hits the pad and there's a stifled appeal for LBW. It wasn't ever really going to go for LBW as 2 thumbs up from the distance.
Oh
my God, my word. So Faf du Plessis, the captain, is miles away on the distance, on the boundary somewhere, and he's just signalled from the boundary with 2 thumbs up that, we're going to take the review.
Well, he's asked there, hasn't he? Yeah. He said, do you want it? He can't obviously give any kind of judgment out at wherever he is deep mid-wicket. But to the naked eye, that looked wrong for a number of reasons. Going down, I wondered if there was an inside edge. And I think it's hit him outside the line of leg stump.
Yeah, it's not a great review. I thought it might have taken a bit of toe. There is no bat in the end. The ultra edge shows there's no bat. It's turning past leg stump, and he's quite deep in his crease, to be fair. But even so, you'd expect that to go down leg side, and maybe even, as you say, hit.
I think the impact's going to be outside leg.
Yeah, impact is outside leg, so that is a spectacularly poor review. The wicketkeeper will have to answer. He should be very grateful the wicketkeeper right-hander, the captain, is not Virat Kohli, because he'd express himself in significantly more colourful language, I imagine.
Well, and also that his captain's on the boundary.
Yeah.
As far away from him as he can get.
Keep your eye on the bowler, son. That's what you do right now. Hasaranga in again. As Sanju Samson dances about the crease and he's hit the ball right back to the bowler. What? He's taken the softest catch of all time. My word. Well, that was remarkable. Sanju Samson was moving about his crease. Hasaranga stood by his delivery, bowled an innocuous-looking length ball, which Samson has just lifted back.
Like a spoon?
Well, yeah, literally spooned it up in the air. The easiest catch you will ever see. It was a googly at the back of the hand from Hasaranga. He's just not read it at all as Sanju Samson. And he's just fed it right back to Hasaranga. The easiest catch, as I say. He's got another wicket. That is a soft dismissal. The manner in which he played that is the way, if you're from India or Pakistan and you played a bit of cricket in your front garden where you come up with abridged rules like, okay, if you get into the flower pot, that's 6. Or if you hit the car, you're out. That kind of rule. It felt like the shot of a cricketer playing backyard cricket.
It did, didn't it? Well, it was almost the shot of a cricketer going, that's a rubbish ball, bob me another one, and just get it back to the bowler as quickly as possible, It was an innocuous delivery. It was a googly. It didn't really skip on or do anything. I think the problem for Samson there was that he danced around his crease and he didn't need to, because he looked in control, actually, against Hasaranga, and he'd hit that fantastic 6 when he'd kept his shape. But he'd tried to bamboozle Hasaranga, moved across one way, then went the other. And it was almost as if he was not prepared or ready for the ball to come out of the bowler's hand. But it's an important wicket, that, 86 for 3. Samson, 8 of 8. So that puts a bit more pressure on Buttler, who's only faced 27 of the 70 balls that have been bowled here, which is another issue for him. He's not got any kind of rhythm into his batting at all. He's not facing enough balls. It's not the easiest pitch, and the bowling's been very good, but it does bring, as you're delighted to see, the smile is teasing across your lips. Tell us why, Arthur.
It's Shimmer and Hetmeyer time. You got to respect a player that colours his hair to coordinate with his kit. He's got like a pink patch on top of his head to match his gear. Here has Shimmer and Hetmeyer. In comes Hasaranga to Hetmeyer, whose first ball, he just guides wide of that slip fielder. No run there. Another dot, 86 for 3. And we'll talk about some of these these players in the women's 100 after this, but I'm going to pose you a question. I'm going to ask you which of three is the most threatening opening partnerships. As in comes Hasaranga again, this time defended on the front foot nicely by Shimron Hetmeyer. Right out of the textbook, that class act. Class. 86 for 3 off 12 overs. Right, here we go.
Yep.
Right, women's 100. There's some great players, right? So, at the Welsh Fire, you've got Tammy Beaumont and Rachel Haynes.
Oh, crikey, that's one heck of an opening pairing.
That is. At the Northern Superchargers, you've got Jemima Rodrigues and Elisa Healy.
Okay, that's more exciting.
Yeah, I know. Never mind Laura Woolvard to come in number 3 there. But
They got Wolford at 3?
At 3, I know, that's an extraordinary
Crikey
batting
Moses.
lineup. So now, the Trent Rockets, this might be the clincher. Well, we'll come to them in a second. And Southern Brave have Smriti Mandana and Danny Wyatt.
Wow. Who have we got at the Oval Invincibles?
You've got Dani van Niekerk and Marizon Cap. That's not bad.
Yeah, but they're not going to open the batting.
They probably won't open the batting, to be fair. I reckon maybe Lauren Winfield Hill.
Yeah.
Up the order. But the one that I wanted to bring to you is the Trent Rockets, who for me have the best, right? They've got Nat Siver and Meg Lanning.
Poof.
That you can't beat that, surely.
I don't know.
It's hard.
Alyssa Healy and Jemima. I don't know. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Harshal Patel in again, starts with a slow ball, push to extra cover for a single, 87 for 3.
Well, this is because we're now getting these players over here for this year's 100, as we were sort of talking about a little bit earlier before a wicket came and interrupted us. And I think that's going to make a huge difference. I think it's going to make this year's women's 100 it'll challenge the women's Big Bash for supremacy in terms of short form women's cricket.
You'd think so. I mean, certainly with the influx of some players from the West Indies, Deandra Dotton and Lizelle Lee likely to open for the Manchester Originals.
The Oval Invincibles have got a problem, but they're the holders. Alice Capsey is going to have to come to the party for them. Danny van Niekerk and Marizon Cap, fine players, but they're sort of more middle-ordery. I think top order power is what Sorry, there you go. ECB. The Oval Invincibles.
Don't open that can of worms. In comes Hetmeyer full. Beg your pardon, it's Hetmeyer on strike. Harshal Patel bowls and it's been full, driven back to the bowler for no run. 87 for 3. I've been in a lot of trouble on Twitter for these kind of things, so I just tend to.
It can happen, can't it? Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to get excited about this, though. I mean, people have had concerns about the men's 100 for various reasons, and some of them I will accept have merit. But in terms of the women's competition, there's no disputing how good it's been for the women's game in this country.
Yeah.
Harshal Patel into Shimron Hetmeyer. He's got a helmet on now, covering that pink hair. It goes down the leg side. And that'll be a wide from Harshal. He's already looking a shell of himself from the previous season, where he finished top wicket taker with 32 wickets in 15 games. 88 for 3 of 12.2
Well done, Nostra Nawaz.
No problem at all. I'll tell you who'll be the top wicket taker in this league eventually. Give me some time. Maybe I might go with Hasaranga, actually.
Oh, but he doesn't bowl in the last over. But
no, he doesn't, but he's
prolific in the middle.
He's prolific in the middle, and people go after him.
Yeah, true.
Harshal in again. Better length this time. Played with soft hands into the covers. The point fielder picks up. There's a shy at the non-striker's end. And it doesn't connect, but also no run.
Rajasthana going absolutely nowhere here. Harshal Patel's bowled 9 balls for 5 runs since the strategic timeout, which I poo-pooed as being strategic. 16 runs have come in 3.3 overs. Butler's barely had any strike. The Royals have lost 2 wickets. 160 now feels a long way away. They're going to go 10 and over here, and they don't look like doing that at the moment, unless Hetmeyer can get himself in.
Well, they've certainly got the firepower to do it. Can they get bat on ball? That time the ball takes a thick inside edge, goes to the short mid-wicket fielder, and another dot ball from Harshal Patel. He's bowling with terrific economy.
Are you sure he's not going to be leading wicket taker?
Harshal Patel?
Yeah.
Well, he might be very economical, but I don't know about leading wicket taker again. Is he near the top at the moment? I think it's Yadav, right? Umesh Yadav is at the top.
Very early days, aren't we? I mean, there's only 2 games that most teams
That's
have played.
how I called it last year. It was the first. Yeah. You gotta be bold.
Early.
You gotta be bold with your predictions. You gotta go all Glenn McGrath. That's the way to do them.
Okay.
Apparently.
It's quite easy with Glenn McGrath, though, isn't it? Because he just predicts that Australia are going to hammer England every time. That's it's not the hardest one.
It's been working out for him, hasn't it?
Yeah.
88 for 3. This is short from Harshal Patel and down the leg side. I suspect that will be given a wide. It hasn't. It's just been signalled a 1 short ball for the over by the umpire. I think he's gotten away with one there.
Well, it's always hard for us to tell it, the foreshortening effect of the camera and all that. But it did look high, and Shimron Hetmeyer's not at all We just see the side-on view.
Went down the leg.
It was a little bit of an angle, but not that much, wasn't that, Mike?
It's the leg side thing that got me there, but
Well, true, yeah.
I think he's survived either way. Harshal in again. This is a slow ball into the pads of Hetmeyer again. Just pushes this gently away into the leg side. The wicketkeeper collects. They come through for a single, so Hetmeyer is off the mark from his 7th delivery, and he'll keep the strike as well. And you were missing a strategic timeout, so the umpire's tapped his wrist. There's going to be yet another strategic timeout.
Oh, really?
89 for 3 after 13 overs.
So soon?
It does feel quite soon.
4 overs since the last one.
Well, the previous one was taken by the bowling team, and this will be the batting team, I suspect. So they do need a bit of chat, strategy-wise.
Well, that gives me a chance to take a look at the Oval Invincible squad in depth here. And so their overseas players are Danny van Niekerk. There's an overseas wildcard pick still to come, but the Danny van Niekerk, Marizan Kapp and Shabnim Ismail. So there's some pace there in that side. With Tash Farrant, they've got a very good seam bowling attack. Their issue will slightly be Lauren Winfield Hill, Alice Capsey, Adish Cranstone, Emily Windsor, I'm delighted to say, our colleague.
Yes, indeed.
Is now an Oval Invincible. There's not a lot of obvious power in the batting there, so you'd imagine that they're going to need to take somebody on board. But for the men, Sunil Narayan, Riley Rousseau and Hilton Cartwright are their overseas players at the moment, supplementing the big-hitting Sam Billings, of course. Tom Curran gets to stay here at the Oval. Sam Curran and Rory Burns, essentially contracted players, but you imagine Sam Curran will certainly play. How much 100 cricket Rory Burns will see, I don't know. For me, the excitement there is seeing the likes of Will Jacks. But all the squads have come out today. So there must be a single place to go, because we're basically being bombarded by emails that have embargoes.
Yes.
So we must be careful not to mention any of these that might be embargoed later.
No, I'm making sure I'm going with what's in the public domain.
Oh, good, well done.
Yes. So I actually don't get too many of those embargo emails. Maybe some people think I'm not a very good secret keeper, but I did have a close eye on the squads, particularly, like as you would the Oval, I would the London Spirit, of course.
Yes.
And I mean, we've got Beth Mooney, which is very exciting, and Megan Shute as well, brilliant with the new ball.
Megan
Shute, I beg your pardon.
No, I make that mistake all the time, because I can't believe anyone's called Megan. But
that's how they do it in Australia.
It is.
Amelia Kerr, Charlie Dean, who's
Amelia Kerr. That's a very good signing.
Yeah.
She had a very good World Cup, didn't she? We saw a bit of her.
She did, and Heather Knight. She spoke so fondly of
who?
Charlie Dean.
Dean.
So she's a big believer in Charlie Dean. She's obviously instrumental in getting her into the England setup as well. So, with Heather Knight at the helm.
So you're coming for our title, are you?
I think it's about time Heather Knight lifted a title, and why not?
She's had the World Cup.
That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's true.
That was 5 years ago, and she had as a captain, getting England to the World Cup final was a terrific effort. As Hasaranga back into the attack, big swing from Hetmeyer, but as they say, no ding. No connection. 89 for 3 after 13.1.
This has been a terrific spell, hasn't it? Basically, Hasaranga and Harshal Patel have tied the Rajasthan Royals in knots in their own different ways. Harshal Patel, I'll come back to after this ball.
Hasaranga in, back of a length this time, and hammered over that fielder at short cover, and it runs away to the boundary for 4. 4 runs for Hetmeyer, his first boundary of this innings, that's him off the mark. Apparently, the last one was given a leg by. 93 for 3. Now, what were you saying about tying in knots?
Off his 9th ball as well. Yeah. Well, it's a high risk shot, that, because he's gone up and over extra cover off the back foot. Not an easy shot to play.
No.
Harshal Patel bowling over and then round, just alternating over and round the wicket, just constantly changing up that angle.
Hasaranga in again. This is short. This time it's been lifted over the infield. That's gone a long way.
What?
That might have carried all the way for 6.
What a shot that is.
It's a remarkable hit from Hetmeyer, who just sort of leaned back. He played that not so much off the back foot, but off the left hip.
Well, this is, again, he's obviously targeting going over the infield on the offside, and he's thrown himself off his feet. He's hit the ball so hard, he's gone so off balance that he's tilted backwards about 10 paces. If you ever remember
it's 4.
It's 4. You remember the the English referee who was touched and then stumbled and kept stumbling until he finally fell over.
Yep.
That was Hetmeyer playing the shot. He wouldn't have been able to run a single there.
Hasaranga this time in a bit fuller. Hetmeyer reaches for it and pushes to extra cover for no run. He kind of, when he hit the ball, it was, I mean, I love the analogy by the referee. I'm thinking more like a comic book villain after he's taken a blow off, or let's say a Batman.
Yeah.
So, and you see them in the next frame, in the next panel in the comic book, sort of flying away. That's kind of what he looked like he was doing. His next ball's been pushed down the ground. Fielder from the wideish set extra cover and long off will compete for who gets to throw the ball back in. In the meantime, the batters will get back for a single. So better over this for the Rajasthan Royals. 9 off it so far with 1 ball to come.
And Hetmeyer somehow faced 8 dot balls there. I mean, you're right, there was a leg by in there, wasn't there? But he's been particularly stuck. And now, Jos Buttler, who's barely faced a ball for a while, this will be his 29th ball and will be the 84th ball of the innings. He's been there the whole time.
He's been starved of the strike a bit. Hasaranga into Buttler, who flicks this neatly out to mid-wicket. It should just be the single, but meaning he'll keep the strike. The strike of which he's been starved for quite some time. 98 for 3, 99 for 3 in fact, after 14 overs. The Rajasthan Royals, 6 overs to go. I mean, if they went at 10 and over...
160 still all right. But, it's a totally different game here, isn't it, at the Wankhede than it is from the Brabourne, which we've seen a few games from there.
Indeed.
And they're really entertaining because they're run fests, as a general rule. First side scores 200 and the other just has to keep going. This is a bit more for the connoisseur.
Yes.
Here, there's a bit happening, and I like that.
Yes, indeed.
To be honest, I like it. The bowlers are in play, and as Abhishek was saying earlier, the Rajasthan Royals bowling attack. Well, they've got Prasid Krishna, Yuzvendra Chahal, Trent Bolt, Navdeep Saini, and R. Ashwin. It's not a bad looking lineup.
So, it's not.
But are you surprised? I mean, I'm a little surprised at how effective spin has been on this wicket, which has been so assisting actually as well to the quicker bowlers. Just held up, hasn't it? Just particularly not quite there
with the new ball as well. I mean, we saw it swinging in both directions for both opening bowlers as well, for Siraj and for Willie. They were getting it going in both directions, but it's kind of maintained itself quite well, this ball. Maybe those Kookaburra balls not breaking away as much as we expected. There's this short from Harshal Patel pulled by Jos Buttler, and he really nailed it, but he picked out the fielder in the deep, who makes a tumbling stop. An excellent piece of work in the deep there. Just a single that brings up the 100 for the Rajasthan Royals. 100 for 3 of 14.1 overs.
Yeah, Buttler, you could see there's a little bit of frustration there. There has been throughout his innings. He's just really hit one out of the screws. That's 6 in the over that he was dropped twice. That was a little bit more like it because no one has got after Harshal Patel. He's bowled a couple of overs, just conceded the 5 runs before the start of this one. And I think Buttler had sort of been itching to have a go at him. Hetmeyer had faced a lot of the balls that Harshal had bowled, and before him, Sanju Samson.
Harshal Patel in again to Shimron Hetmeyer, who comes down the track and doesn't really get a hold of it as he smears this down the ground to long on for a single. He moves on to 10 off 13 now, putting a dent in that strike rate. 101 for 3, the Rajasthan Royals. You can see that they're looking to attack now, and they need to. They've still got batters to come as well in this innings.
It's a very un-Buttler-like strike rate, this 120, but I'm going to labour the point, but he's faced 5 overs out of 14.2 basically.
Yeah, it's unusual. It happens though.
It does happen. Yeah,
it's a bit unusual. Harshal, and again, this is short outside off, and this time the ball evades and under edge as it goes through to the keeper for no run, and more frustration for Buttler there as he pounds the bat into an imaginary pillow into the ground, I imagine.
He's very expressive today, isn't he?
Yes.
Often he's cool as a cucumber.
I think he's been watching some Bollywood films out there in India. Jos Buttler getting in touch with his melodramatic side.
Yeah,
I
do.
Yeah, I think I can see that in a bit of. He's very calm, cool, and collected, Jos, when you normally see him, and that's a beautiful delivery. It's a slower ball. If that's connected, it's out. An excellent slower full delivery has completely done in Jos Buttler. The ball dipped on him, and it's been given LBW by the umpire now. Jos has reviewed this immediately. If he doesn't have bat on it, it looks pretty damning.
I feel that he must have bat on it. Either that, or he thinks that he's such an important wicket. But he's not that kind of a guy normally.
No.
So I'm expecting there to be a bit of bat on this.
Now this is coming in. Does it pitch in line? It does. Oh, it's got a thick inside edge. There's a big inside edge, so you can tell why I reviewed that straight away. That's going to be overturned immediately. It looked pretty dead on to the naked eye, but you can see why the umpire gave it out as well. But that thick inside edge was so close to the pad, and Butler survives.
It's another warning to him, though. He's lived a bit of a charmed life in this match. Been dropped a couple of times, nearly done in there. He's not been able to time the ball. It's been hard, heavy going for Joss Butler. We don't say that very often.
Harshal Patel in again. There's another full ball. This time the ball's just wristed away down the ground to long on for a single. Butler on to 37 off 33 deliveries. Rajasthan 102 for 3. One ball to come in the 15th over.
Oh, and here we go. Look, this is exactly what we're talking about here. Wickets by phases in the IPL. Atif Nawazi, little genius. 44% of his wickets have come in the last 5 overs. 44% in over 7 to 15. Doesn't bowl much in the power play. He's only got 1 over left here. I wonder, is that going to be kept up? I'm going to leave that question for Abhishek Junjunwala when he comes back on.
Harshal Patel in again. This is short. And Hetmeyer again looking to smear it away. Gets a sort of thickish under edge. It goes out to mid-wicket for a single. A good over again for Harshal Patel. Just the 4 runs off it. He's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 9 so far. Been outstanding, as has often been the case with Harshal Patel. Rajasthan Royals 103 for 3 with 5 overs to go. Daniel Norcross, Abhishek Junjunwala is about to rejoin you. As he does, tell me what you think Rajasthan are going to finish on here.
Well, I'm thinking that they're struggling. A wicket or 2, and on this surface, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they kind of limp to about 147. It's feeling a bit sticky to me. And RCB, I think, have bowled very well on this surface. But I still think we're in for a tight game, Abhishek Junjunwala.
I think we're looking at 165 here. I'll take a punt, and you said 147, Dan. I'm going to go for 160, 165.
Okie dokie. Hetmeyer, first ball of the new over from Hasaranga. Turns it around the corner to short square leg for a single. So, well, look, if one of these two stays into the end, then I'm with you.
The way I see it, 30 balls, 5 sixes, 30 runs, 4 boundaries, 16. That's 46 runs already. And that's only 10 deliveries. You still got 20 odd deliveries to play with. 20 singles, you get to 170, and that's the way they break it down. They are thinking 5 sixes here.
Butler comes down the wicket, clips the ball into the onside, out towards deep mid-wicket for a single. This is again good bowling from Hasaranga. Whenever he sees Butler coming at him, he sees him early and then just drops it in short.
Yeah. So I think the mentality has completely changed, the way people think, the way batters think, the way the teams are thinking now. It's all about the boundaries. That's why you see they never panic. Even if they need 65, 70 of the last 5, they think they can easily do it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see what's in their head. I'm just wondering. It's just, there's no real fluency in